We are WNST, AM 1570, Tassel, Baltimore. We are Baltimore Positive. We're positively down here in Ocean City. Tell you what, man, you come to Ocean City, it's a big swag fest here at Mako. Even Bill Cole's in on the swag. He's got like an album that says Cole Roofing on it, so I just want to give him some love. Our friends at the Maryland Lottery, Lucky Sevens doublers, as well as Pressing Your Luck. This guy's not going to put the whammy on me. My one-time intern, employee, friend, and longtime associate has graduated into the world of government. You know, I mean, I think, Sean Stinnett, if there was a question as to whether I could be a duly elected official or whether you would be an appointed elected official who's going to become a duly elected official, chances are probably good that you would have been the official before me. You know, like you're probably more qualified to be a politician than me, probably. Right. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm doing great. You know, I feel like I'm back at home. Back at home at WNST.
Well, I'll bring you over to the studio, and that would be more, you would smell different over there than it does. We had a nice lunch here. Yeah. How are you? Now, Delegate, Maryland General Assembly. How did you go from Citizen Sean Stinnett? I looked up, and you're like, I'm going to be a delegate. And I'm like, yeah. Give everyone that story, because I don't know that people even know how well we know each other, or that you worked here turn of the century on and in and out. I've known you 20, 25 years, and you were a guy that came to me and said, I think I want to work in media. I want to make a difference in the world. Yep. I mean, you've always been like a community shaper. Right. So this is I can't think of anybody better serving in government than you,
I appreciate it. And I remember that day when you and I had a conversation. You said, look, we got to talk, we got to meet each other and so forth. And we had lunch over at the Mount Washington Tavern, which is actually in my current district that I represent now. So that's perfect. And I'm glad that we solicited one of our great businesses in the 41st district.
Well, your memory's better than mine at this point. So what year was that?
Now you talking, that had to be, I would say probably 2020? Around that time, sorry, not 2020. Around early 2000s had to be.
It was 20 years ago.
2000s, yeah.
I mean, I feel like I've known you 2 decades.
It's been a while.
Tell everybody what you've done since you left me 10 years ago.
Right.
And, I mean, you were always on the streets of Baltimore trying to make a difference. I'm talking about Freddie Gray. I'm talking about all the marches. You were involved in the city and in youth and in really helping people, man. I mean, that's who you are.
Right. I mean, that's just something that I enjoy doing, as far as doing service, doing, work in the community. That's where it got me. That's who, as far as my community, my people, is really the reason why I'm here in this position. The opportunity presented itself just by way of Senator Jill Carter. She got appointed by the governor as far as being a judge within Contract Court of Appeals, which opened that position. And then from there, the current Senator Dahlia Tarr got selected in that position, which left her position open as delegate. And then I was one out of 12 individuals who had submitted their resume and interviewed for the position. It's just that my collective of work, as far as within the community and being consistent, ever since that about 8-10 years ago when I ran originally and lost, but I stayed within the community and stayed within, as far as my overall district, let alone Baltimore City.
I forgot that you ran.
Work.
You ran.
I did run and learned a lot and understood as far as what it takes, as far as overall, as far as doing having a successful campaign. So I learned a lot from that experience.
Well, it's unique. So tell everybody what a delegate is. Let's do Schoolhouse Rock here. State delegate.
Right. A state delegate is pretty much an individual who's in the position of legislate policy. Be able to create certain bills, as far as not only bills that affect as far as the Maryland residents, but even certain bills that affects certain parts of their district or certain individuals within the districts. Like there's a lot of bills that reflects as far as the youth, and a lot of bills that reflects as far as business owners and so forth. So we're put in that position as far as to be able to legislate policy in regards to bills that affects business owners, youth, older adults, and so forth.
Unique to be sort of appointed, right? I mean,
right.
I mean, you want to be elected. You're going to run again. I see you have friends of Sean Stinnett. By the way, if you want to contribute, this is my dude, Sean Stinnett.
SeanStinnett.com.
Yeah, there you go. That's 2 N's, 2 T's.
Right.
So give me your district. Tell me what you represent, who you represent, and what you're trying to get done in Annapolis.
Sure.
In a short track. You've been less than a year, right?
Yeah, less than a year. Actually, the governor appointed me in February. I got sworn in March.
Okay.
So I came in as pretty much sort of like
So
the
we're 6
last
months
third.
in. Okay.
Yeah, last third of the session. So really, that was sort of an exhilarating experience. Not overwhelming and so forth, but I mean, it was so many things were sort of thrown at me all at once. Of course, I came in like two weeks prior to Bill Cross. And outside of that, I even now serve on the Judiciary Committee, which is a total experience within itself as well. So it's just been sort of fast-paced as far as everything that's been going on. I also not only serve on the Judiciary Committee, but I'm also a member of the Legislative Black Caucus. I'm a member of the Maryland Veteran Caucus, and also a Maryland of the Latino Caucus.
That's my people.
Yeah. I gotta feel that I needed to put myself in the position to be able to represent what my constituents look like as a whole. In those three areas that we have a lot of strong population as far as within the Latino community, as well as, like I said, the veteran community, and then of course Legislative Black Caucus. And also I say that also represent the Muslim community as well, because we have a large population of the Muslim community within our district.
Your district, let's talk about it. Border east, west, north, south. Where is it?
Yeah, we're over. So just to give you an idea, like Roland Park, all the way over to the more south side as far as Irvington. So we pretty much are in parts of north Baltimore City, northwestern, where I reside in, as well as southwestern part of Baltimore City. So it's more of like the Baltimore City County line, but we're on the
like
the
Forest
city
Park
side.
kind of area.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. Forest Park, Irvington, Edmondson Village, Uplands. Of course, as far as Roland Park, Mount Washington, Cheswold, West Arlington, and so forth.
You can find a crab cake somewhere in there, you and me.
Oh, you find great crab cakes all over.
Sean Stinnett is here. Delegate Sean Stinnett, my former intern, friend, employee, all that. Not former friend, still friend. I'm allowed to be friends with delegates. Getting elected and running now, and that on top of the plate of doing the work. I've always found that to be the interesting part for anybody who wants to do this work. That, I mean, for me, when I was going to run for mayor, I was unorthodox. I wasn't going to ask for money. I was going to short track it.
Right.
I was going to independent, get signatures, and run against Sheila. Had that gone that way. It didn't go that way. And my whole jam would have been like, I'm not running again.
Right.
I'm going to run once. If y'all want me, I'll keep it again.
Yeah.
But I'm not, like, the running part of asking people for money and hosting dinners and getting, that's always been the part that makes me itch about politics. And I had Mark Elrich here, Montgomery County executive, who talked about winning an election with $1 million against a $24 million war chest.
Right.
And he won. That I feel like there's some authenticity coming back. That a guy like you might not need $1 billion to win, because you'll go out and knock doors, shake hands, do what you need to do. But in addition to that, doing the work in D.C.
Yes.
Or, excuse me, in Annapolis.
Right. And that's clearly what I think the advantage that I have, and of course, with the election coming up, you're going to have anybody, as far as make their formal announcement, but has been disconnected from the community with the neighbors within that district they want to represent. And that's where I can say that I'm very different from. Even though that about 8, almost 10 years ago that I've lost my race as delegate, but I stayed within my neighbor, I stayed within my district in Baltimore City and being active and fluid and have everybody see me. So I'm not a person that's going to be coming in saying, hey, you haven't seen me in 10 years, but I'm asking for your vote.
I'm in charge now.
Exactly. They consistently, and that's what I think that the people really needs and wants, as far as they want to see some consistency. They don't want to see somebody just coming into the neighborhood saying, hey, I'm just coming around because I want your vote now. I'm not going to see you for another 4 years. I clearly telling people exactly where I live. I live right on the corner, in West Arlington or Hillsdale and Elderon. So it's like I'm not hard to find, let alone you can find me there, but as well as you can find me in the community as well, dealing with youth, older adults, business owners, and so forth. Because my background is business development overall, because that's what I do for Maryland Department of General Services. But overall, I just stay consistent.
When you say that, when constituent services, what does that mean to a delegate? When you're out, somebody's got a political question, or this or that, a government question, they come up. What is the thing you hear the most where you feel like you can be effective? Where you're going to put a bill together one day and say, this is effed up. I need, everybody in my, everybody's beating on me about this. This is the thing that's important to my people.
Right. Yeah. Well, the one thing is I you know, and I definitely I agree what you're saying. Do hear a small pocket of folks as far as when they understand as far as the difference between, you know, a state delegate as well as somebody from the local municipality, like a council
A
person.
city
and so
council,
forth.
sure.
Yeah, because a lot of times we get.
Well, we need schoolhouse rock in this country.
Right. Oh,
I've
yeah.
seen who's running it. You
Right,
know what I
right.
mean? Like, we're not educated enough. We
Right,
all
right.
need
We
to go
know,
back
we
to
know.
social
Yeah,
studies,
we
7th
know.
grade, and
Right,
get civics
right.
again. Literally.
Exactly. You know, and a lot of people don't understand and don't know that, you know, you can register to vote when you're 16 years old. You just can't vote until you're 18. But you can already sort of have that leeway as far as, you know, have your voter registration already ready to go. And then when you turn 18, you're ready
I know
to
you and
exercise your
Brandon, that
voice.
was part of your
Yeah.
deal with helping Brandon get elected is just registering people to vote.
Registering people to vote, you know, on a consistent basis. I mean, that's the key. But it's just overall, I think that, you know, just educating folks as far as what the difference is. However, still, if they have those local issues,
we take them.
We take them. And that's what the partnership is all about as far as not only on my level, but on the city council level, dealing with, you know, my representatives, Councilwoman Vice President Sharon Green Middleton, as well as my neighborhood, West Arlington, shares 5 and 6. So we have a partnership or relationship with Councilman Yitzi Slifer and so forth. And then or over in the 8th district, as far as within, when you look at the district, we have Councilman Paris Gray. Before we had Councilman Christopher Burnett. And then we also have Councilman James Torrance, you know what I mean? So, and also now with the council president, as far as Zeke Cohen, and before it was Nick Mosby. So we make sure that we have that collaborated effort, you know, that relationship and partnership with everybody, because we know that something is going to affect, you know, us on a state level, because we're talking to constituents, and we need to make sure that we bridge that gap and be able to have that fluid conversation to make sure that we're addressing the needs of the constituents.
Well, what's the number one need then? What's the thing you hear the most about as a delegate?
Right now, I think that mental health. I think it, you know, a lot of things.
So everything in the city was crime before. Now all of a sudden it's just sort of like, it's different.
Because, you know, the pandemic really changed a lot, changed the strong dynamics with everybody, and especially with young people being at home and sort of at times locked up in the house because of, you know, we didn't know how to really.
Well, there was nothing open anyway.
Right, exactly. You know, still, but people really didn't know how we were going to respond in that particular manner as far as dealing with the, you know, the pandemic situation. But I think that one of the things my office is really focusing on is mental health as far as dealing with the youth and so forth. So that's one of the pieces of legislation that we're working on as far as looking at where we can provide therapists as far as in schools
counseling,
on a daily basis. Yeah, just to be outlet, because unfortunately, you know, I had, you know, a traumatic experience as far as with one of my younger cousins in my family had committed suicide. And if you saw her, if you saw her, you wouldn't even know. You know, and that's the thing about it. We sort of have that disconnect. We don't realize we have that disconnect.
Your cousin didn't feel like they could reach and get your.
Right. Yeah, you know, the parents.
We've all had a dark thought in our lives.
Right, exactly. You know,
it's what you do after that, and what you surround yourself with.
Yeah. And we just got to make sure that we have that fluid conversation and that connectedness and just sort of that engagement and so forth to understand and making sure that we're responding the proper way when we're dealing with people that's sort of crying out for help, but not necessarily saying I'm crying out for help.
Mental health, all right.
Yeah.
No, that shocks me.
Right.
It doesn't shock me that that's where your heart and your things. So campaign, what's your campaign, Sean Stinnett?
Yeah, campaign.
You're going to try to get a contribution from me. What are we going to do?
Yeah, got to. Sean
I've
Stinnett.
never given a nickel to a politician in my life. I did buy a couple rolls of stamps for Tom Harkin for president back in about 1992 when he ran against Clinton. But I have I give airtime and I talk. I had Chris Van Hollen here or whatever. But I don't write checks to politicians because I don't want to be in the middle of that. But you're my friend, so if you gave me buying a plate of food or something,
I look at it. I don't call myself
a
politician, but I know I represent the community, because that's where my love, that's where my work, that's where my heart is. Especially it starts at home in West Arlington, where I live at, because I would not be in the position that I am in now as far as representing as a whole, because sort of they gave me my training ground. You know what I mean? Being able to represent the right way as far as within my own
hard
community
times too. You got a lot of challenges in your district. You've seen. Look, when I was thinking of running for mayor, my wife and I left the zoo one night, and we made a right turn out of Druid Hill Park. We went through some challenged areas, down where the drug overdoses, north of North near Pennsylvania, right? To give you an idea where the riot, all that stuff happened, right? I'm driving through there, and we drove through a really challenged area. And my wife turns to me, she's like, you get to be the mayor of this part of town too.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, I'm aware of that, and I'm not going to
Yeah.
fix everything here if I were the mayor.
Right.
But I do think there's a point where, like, someone like you that has lived, worked in West Arlington your whole life, you're a man of the people there in the community, and you've been with people where there's been a murder, where there's been a drug overdose, where there's been crime, where there's been victims, where there's been trauma. Like,
trauma.
I mean, trauma is part of the city culture in Baltimore. It has been since you and I didn't have gray hair.
Right,
literally.
exactly.
I mean,
dealt with on a regular basis. Back then, of course, proud member of 300 Men March movement, and I would say just dealing with trauma. I mean, my family and I had gone on vacation last week, came back, had gone back in the community because I had to get back to work that last Saturday, and then all of a sudden in my district we have a mass shooting. 5 people got shot, including a 5-year-old little girl. You know what I mean? And I immediately had ran out and said, look, enough is enough. And not only we have to step up more as a community, but we need to more find ways to de-escalate certain situations when we know that it may escalate to something like that in that manner, as far as somebody picking up a gun and shooting.
Well, I asked Odette Ramos why it's getting better. What about it's getting better? And I think all of you who surrounded the mayor years ago, and you're one of the mayor's guys at that point, bought into not just Safe Streets, but everything that happened. I mean, the leader of Safe Streets, I was trying to get him on a show. He got murdered. Right?
Yeah,
I mean, just
Dante,
I mean, I'd heard nothing but amazing things about him. And you knew him. I never got a chance to know him. I mean, I got really upset that morning because I thought, man, that's a man I wanted to have on this show to talk about these issues. Well, but that's the dark side, right? And since then, we have numbers, we have data that say there's been a lot of tragedy, but there's been a lot of progress.
Oh yeah. It takes time. It takes time for when the mayor put out his vision, and it takes time for folks to accept that vision, as well as things to execute. And I think he's done a phenomenal job as far as that. And he proved a lot of naysayers when they thought that it wouldn't work, that it has been working. You see the decrease as far as in homicides and shooting overall. Of course, he's not going to.
Can you imagine saying we're going to fix this by having young black men talk to each other?
Right.
Exactly. Like that's literally what this is, right?
Exactly,
like if I say that, people, you can't talk to them. Animals, they were gangsters. They're trying to get them to
Right.
No. All of a sudden, if you communicate, show a little love, show a little kindness, show a little education, show the de-escalation. What I didn't understand is so many of these murders aren't randomly looking for me walking through their neighborhood to kill me.
Right.
Maybe rob, whatever, if they're a bad guy. But this was really interpersonal turf, my girl, disrespect.
Right.
It literally was something that in Holabird Middle would be a fight on the top of the hill, maybe with knives, that turns into guns and turns into incredible tragedies. That is at the root. And that was what Brandon was trying to say to me years ago. Like, we gotta talk.
Right.
It's not just taking guns away. It's certainly not incarcerating.
Right.
It's providing a different different choice in life.
Right. And to me, in that messaging, that point, as far as it's us to us, especially I would say black men, as far as to go into and talk to, one, start at home, because I think that's what the key missing point. Folks are not being taught and educated and really understand as far as, from that point, as far as, how you should react and what you should do overall when under certain situations. But it's as far as that I think that we as men need to really be consistent and really do things differently and really grab and being more engaged as far as with this youth so they can understand more on just life in general.
300 Man March.
Yes.
Decade ago now, right?
Yes.
Your involvement in that, the genesis of that. And look, man, if I were patting you on the back a whole lot, I'd say a lot of that movement and the first time Trump around and Freddie Gray and the breakdowns, all of that, having a young black mayor, a North Star for young black men in the city. I would think that the 300 Men March, somewhere out there was a 14-year-old that's now a 24-year-old who didn't find themselves on the wrong side of progress. Right? I mean, I don't know what the genesis of I don't think I've ever talked about the 300. I knew you were involved. I don't know that I ever brought you on to even say, The hell is that? What is that?
Yeah,
I'm seeing on my timeline or whatever.
right.
Because that was Freddie Gray related, correct?
Yeah, well, no, we were out there before, and really not even myself as far as the co-founders as far as Munir Bahar, as well as then was Councilman Brandon Scott. But they're the true founders as far as that organization. And this was years before that. They were just more on the lower scale. And, of course, by their vision, it was able to expand. But when I came upon, that was Freddie Gray. We were already out.
What was the message? What was that? We're going to do what?
Yeah, well, we must stop killing each other.
Got it. Perfect. Okay.
Yeah, we must stop killing each other, and that's what we needed. That's the messaging that we brought out. But because in the communities where we were walking in, you will see on Friday nights a collection of men, whether it be in black, white, Jewish, Muslim, Christian. Everybody was out as a whole, as far as men, talking to and providing resources for individuals. And I think even though that we're not collectively out now, but I think we've all branched off to do our own different things or set up other organizations that are very similar. Munir Bahar has recreated or sort of reinvented Core Community, which is focusing on that and even focusing on bringing young people into different construction trades and so forth. Of course, we see with the mayor what great things that he is doing as well, what I've been doing as well, and then you have a band of brothers that came about, We Are Us, these other safe
Corey
streets
McRae
and so
on
forth.
all the time talking about
the
responsibility of education and a trade and having a job.
Exactly.
Having a job, man. Having a job.
Senator McRae is, by trade of electrician. You know what I mean? So he's able to understand and knowing that what he has.
Yeah, he came on me over Coco's a couple months ago. He told me he was an at-risk youth. I didn't realize.
Yeah.
I mean, he seems like the most brushed up. Seems like he's always had it together. He's like, no, man. I could have been in car. I could have been a lot of things besides Senator Corey McRae.
Exactly.
And I think we could all speak to that to some degree. Right?
Clearly we can. We can. We just all we're fortunate enough to have the right people in place at the right time to really get us over that hump or get us what we're looking for or crying out for at that particular time, and then take it from there as far as, boom, like Corey McRae, he's doing phenomenal work as far as in his district as well. And I learned from him as far as from a distance and even one-on-one, and his staff has been very supportive as far as with my staff coming into the legislature and so forth. So yeah, those are the type of people that I think we need to really build upon and really look at more and more as far as in their background and as well as their current story.
All right, man. I'm done with you with the politics thing. Sean Stinnett is here. He is delegate of what's the
41st district.
41.
Yes.
It's all alphabet soup to me.
Right.
That's why we ask where, not what the number is.
Yep.
You get the number all day long. Nobody Googling that. So, what's wrong with my Orioles?
I was really disappointed, when they started really getting, because I thought that I could have sworn that somebody had said we're not going to do it sort of like a firehouse sale and everything. So I was really disappointed when they started, getting rid of some core key people, Cedric Mullins and so forth. That really hurt my heart.
Well, they all come and go. I mean, once we
I know, but just in the middle of the season and so forth, that's where I just didn't want to.
Last place season.
You're talking about fan favorites, and still we were 10 games out of 500. I'm like, it could change.
Oh, man, it's not. I mean, not this year. It wasn't built for it this year.
I always have hope. You know what I mean?
That's part of you.
Right.
That's part of you.
That brings me back in our days, back in the day. I remember when
the situation,
Rafael Palmeiro and all of those things were happening and all of that stuff. Back in the day where we were getting, it was myself, Jeremy Kahn, Ray Bachman, KC, and so forth.
You don't want to get into that. You got anything on the Ravens? They're going to win a Super Bowl, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm rooting for. Ravens, all the way. Easy.
Well, I mean, I think when you look at them right now, you would just say they have a top 3 roster.
Oh, yeah.
There's no reason they can't win the Super Bowl.
No, just got to stay healthy.
Right.
You know what I mean? We already lost 2 cornerbacks for the year, which is.
I mean, our Darius Washington gone.
So
got to get Likely back.
But we got the right people in the front office as far as make things happen and kind of do some adjustments. So it's like we always can be critics on one side, but we know that they got the pulse up for the team. So yeah.
Buffalo.
I get tired of hearing them talk about it. I mean, we should be talking about the 3-time MVP.
Well, the good news, we're within a month, we're 3 weeks out.
Yeah.
I mean, it's good.
Yeah.
I'm ready. I'm ready for football. I mean,
I'm ready for football.
I'm done with baseball.
Yeah.
I was done with baseball in June when they went.
Yeah.
I'm ready to focus on
I'm
getting
ready.
some football.
The only time this time I hate it because I know now it's going to get cold. You know what I mean? So the season's going to change. That's the
I'm
only
sitting
part
in here in a sweatshirt in Ocean City, Maryland.
Right.
This is a garage door. So when I
Right.
got here yesterday morning, I had the mayor of Ocean City by and Tom Palazzo. We're in sunlight because the garage door was open here, and they let all the cold air out.
Right. Okay,
so I sat here yesterday. It was like, Paul, Ocean, I can see the beach from here. Literally. Then they shut the garage door.
Right.
And now it's like an ice box in here.
Yeah.
My nose is running, Sean.
Right.
It's so cold. I got a puppy dog in here. Sean Stinnett is here. He is a delegate in 41, which is in Baltimore City. He's been my friend for a couple of decades. I'm so proud of him. Keep up the great work, dude. And did I miss anything? Is there anything you need to tell people?
No.
Friends of Sean Stinnett help get elected.
Yes.
I don't pimp people often, but I'm going to pimp
Sean
Stinnett.
A. Stinnett is my committee name, and also www.Sean Sean Stinnett Stinnett all one word.com. Please go to the website. You can read up on a little bit more about me. Of course, clearly you can make a donation or two, but because we need all the support that we can. It's going to be a long campaign road ahead. Always feel free to come out of Annapolis. My door is always welcome, and also to your listeners, come on out of Annapolis and during the session, 90-day session. Love to set up and give everybody a tour.
Oh, look at
announce
this.
who's
He's
there.
inviting me to Annapolis in
come on down.
January.
Come on down.
You got a little office with your nameplate? The whole thing?
I'm on the 3rd floor in the House of Delegates building. So I share space with Delegate Frank Conaway. So anytime. You know what I mean? Got my brother over here. He's been taking pictures and everything.
It's a family affair.
Yeah. No, and that's what it's all about as far as
Proud
family.
of you, dude.
Appreciate it.
If I can't run for all, Ted Venetoulis said to me years ago, he's like, without a lot of money, and you don't want to. You might not win, but you'll do more losing an election than you will winning, is what he said to me. You'll get more done. So I'm doing what I can do here. Right. And you're doing what you can do here. Because you're electable.
Right.
I got long hair.
Now, it's funny you say that because a good friend of mine, Dwayne Shorty Davis, told me the same thing, that when I lost about 10 years ago, he just said that you'd be more effective as far as not being elected than elected.
And look how it turned out.
Yeah, and to me, it was a work in progress for them. And that's the unfortunate thing. Like I said, you're going to have a whole bunch of people come out the woodwork and say they're going to run, they want to be, a delegate as well, but have yet to really do anything or significant work within the district, within the communities.
Well, keep up the good work, all right?
Appreciate
it. I know when it comes down to it, your heart will make the right decision.
Yep.
Sean Stinnett is here. He is our delegate in 41st District. It's all brought to you by the Maryland Lottery in conjunction with our friends at Liberty Pure Solutions. Our 27th anniversary is brought to you by Curio Wellness and Far and Daughter. Get out and visit them. I am visiting. I still have a little bit of my pie over here. I got Death by Coconut this morning. Wow. You're driving home on 50. I don't know if you're trying to lose a little weight, but I'll get you fatter. Get you some pie. Stop at the Ugly Pie in Salisbury and get you this Death by Coconut or anything else that looks good. And then we'll have a crab cake. We get back in the city. But I'm doing my 27 favorite things to eat this month. Well, I've done the crab cakes, and I've done the breweries. Yeah. I was going to do crab soup. I was going to do cream and go. And then I thought to myself, all of these small businesses, my favorite Chinese restaurant, my favorite snowball stand, my favorite, doesn't have to be crab cakes, anything but crab cakes to some degree. So I'm trying to go around town and feature some businesses that might not have a lot of love in that way. Yeah. My number one place is just a small little local business. My number two place was a small little business. Now they got a couple locations. But these are not sponsors. At the top, they're not sponsors. Now I'm doing sponsor shows all next week. Yeah. But my top 4 things to eat, favorite things to eat, are not sponsors.
Yeah.
So good. I'm gonna. I know you're following along because you're looking for some good to eat.
Yeah. But definitely, call me. Yeah,
you ain't
we
never
have
had
plenty
a
of great
meal with me.
Yeah, no, I never had. Especially with the sponsors that we had in the past.
I even took you to IHOP
ate well.
So I love
you.
Yeah,
exactly.
Got you Rudy Tooty Fresh and Fruity is what I did with this guy at Owings Mills.
And that was our last breakfast together. When we were Owings Mills.
That was our most recent. It was not our last.
Yeah, most recent.
Because we ain't had a last yet. We still got to live a little bit.
Right. Well,
I'll meet
most
you
recent
Happy
one.
Jack's cross street for pancakes tomorrow. No, I wouldn't. I'll take you to Salisbury, get you some pie.
All right, good. Yeah.
All right, well, we're going to get
I did have my Smith Island cake, so that's good.
Well, tonight's my night after the crab feast here before I leave. I might do this tomorrow before I leave, but Fisher's Popcorn is going to be on my list.
I got to get some, bring home some of my mom and my kids. So yeah.
It hits different when you take it home,
right?
right?
Right,
Because you can get it in the tins and you can order it.
Mm-hmm.
But the thing for me, it hits different when I'm up on the boardwalk
Right.
and the girls and the boys are scooping it, and then they get that gooey
Right.
caramel,
Yeah,
you know.
yeah.
I'm going to be hungry when I get over there. All right.
Yeah.
I am Nestor. He is Sean, signing off
Yep.
from Ocean City, Maryland.
Tell Jen I said hi.
I appreciate that. She